The lands between needs a tarnished to take the throne and become Elden Lord. But why does the tarnished have to rise now if there's already a tarnished ready to go who wants to challenge the Erd Tree anyway? Someone to fight the establishment on behalf of the working class, from Lim Grave to the mountaintops of the giants. I'm talking about a revolution in the lands between. We're playing as Bernal, aka Bernie. So here's how Bernie can still win. In Elden Ring. To watch these runs live, follow me on Twitch. We're going to find new ways to play Elden Ring all the time. I am once again asking for your subscribing support. Less than half of you are subscribed. 30% might win a plurality, but I'm going to need a lot more of you if we're going to win this YouTube thing. Now, let's take on the top 1% of the lands between. Despite all my letters, Bernie isn't a starting class in Elden Ring, so we have to start off as a vagabond and cowabunga into Lim Grave. If the Weeping Peninsula is the deep south, Lim Grave would be sort of the Bible Belt. We're on a 50-state strategy. Get the crafting kit, horsey, and a strength tier. Don't need a wet blade because Bernie's special weapon has one Ash of War that can only work one way. After less than 10 minutes of setup, we are ready to become Bernie. You can fight Bernie in the War Master's Shack and literally get everything he has. Armor, hammer, I guess you don't get the vacuum wave bastard sword, which is weird because that's what he's actually using here. We have to use our halberd. More specifically, we're using the reach of our halberd. Already, Bernie will not quit. His heavy armor gives him huge poise as well as the poise from his big ass sword. It requires a balance of spacing. What a chump.
You're weak. I'm you.
But after one errant murder, we turn it around. Oh, just because you do one murder, you're a bad guy forever? Let's save Alexander from a hole. We don't need his shard, I'm gonna be honest. Our Ash of War is pretty bad. Third Church America gives us a physic flask, but these ingredients are terrible. Let's spice it up with a charged attack and stamina tiers. Charged attack is good, stamina is fine. We don't have the stats we need for Bernie's hammer. It's probably why you can't start with it. So, to the Dragon Barrel, we take an L to the Knight's Cavalry, then make it a little better and he falls instead. Have a nice fall. See you next trip. That gets us the faith we need. Still need a lot more runes though. On the way, a Somber Stone 9, a Somber Stone 8, some fists, and a pickle to punch the dragon. Look, punching with bloody fists isn't necessarily in Bernie's kit, but don't you want this video to happen? Honestly, I would love it if the game just started you at level 40. It would be so much more fun instead of having to struggle through the beginning of the game. Even though it is fun to watch an old man milk a bad dragon, one of my favorite genres of political cartoon. Google old man milking bad dragon on your work computer. That'll give us the rest of the stats we need for the hammer and some endurance for the armor. It's heavy stuff. It also means we only have 17 vigor to start off with. Obviously the shard bearers are hoarding all the vigor. We need to take it back. Gotta get the Dectus medallion from Fort Pharaoh, though we run all the way through for a Radigan Sword Seal. We need more financial support, and we get some from patches. Nerd Juice is blocking the way. We try that Ash of War. Devourer of Worlds. It's the special ability of the Devourer Scepter. And, Bernie, this is your Ash of War?
What? I love garbage.
Fudge it. I'm just gonna hit him a lot. Patches is another person we hit a lot. Something about a bald guy trying to take the working class's runes away just doesn't sit right with me. By the way, if you want to support me with money, I keep way more on Patreon than I do on Twitch. Bezos gets half on Twitch, Patreon only takes 20%. How can you dislike capitalism but still need money to eat? I'm very smart. Now we're ready for Lernia and meet up with Raya. She's a great protege. This kind woman just needs medical care for her scoliosis. And the Golden Order wants her to pay more than double what she would pay in Yharnam or Lothric. Worse, her necklace got stolen by a crabman. Well, we can right both of those wrongs with compassion and care.
Oh my god!
Maybe we just need to right those wrongs with considerable violence.
There we go.
Seems like one of those worked better. It's actually because we were trying to use the Ash of War in the first one, so I guess let me explain what it does. You make a big AoE, it does fire damage and drains some HP from the enemy, but it will almost always fail, and the damage isn't good even if it works. So yeah, Devourer Scepter just works better as a big hammer. Raya gets her necklace back. It's a happy ending. After hitting the Bellum Grace, we're going into the Raya Lucaria Crystal Cave because there is a ton of Somber Stones in there. Of course, we're not harming any of these good working class people on the way down. Could run back up, but it would be faster to bash the Crystallium. The Crystallion isn't working class, it's management class, forcing these workers to get smithing stones when it had the bell bearing all along? That's messed up. Now imagine Bernie in Fortnite. We kill the Fort Knight, no reason to, but It's fine. Then we ride up the Dectus lift to say hi to Raya. She brings us to Volcano Manor. It's a group of people who are tearing down the established order. Feels like my kind of place. Like, maybe we should have been here all along. I even know where all the secret walls are. We can grab the Somber Stone 5, try to make this jump.
Aim for the bushes.
And fail. Then get a Somber Stone 6. Now we only need a 4. Per Extra Life, there's one near a Finger Creeper on Gelmnir, but after dying to the Finger Creeper while running around for 4 minutes, I find out it's actually inside the Creeper. Also, since the Devourer Scepter has fire damage, it makes Creepers roll back and panic. Obviously, the tech billionaires at Extra Life are peddling conspiracy theories and radicalizing good people with bad information. Hey, we haven't killed Margit yet. He's the leader of the police state in Lim Grave. It's why Simple Tarnished can't walk down the street without being harassed by guards. Good news, +6 hammer versus Margit, pretty good. I don't bring in Rajir. We don't need a running mate yet. Bernie never picked good ones. One jump attack and one last minute tail dodge followed by a second jump attack. The Devourer Scepter has the longest reach of the Great Hammers. Other Great Hammers might not have been able to reach across this aisle. Number 3 gets the stance break, and after a brief pause to let that stamina come back, that damage is goddamn nice. He pulls out the hammer, but
Nice face too, bro. She let me hit it because I'm goofy.
look, this is pretty strong, obviously, but what if we just made it totally broken? Burned a little hotter, you know? On our way to get the flame boosting tier, I realized that we could technically use any casting seal. So let's swing at the Tibia Mariner. While that's happening, let me explain why we're doing this. So Bernie only casts one spell, and it doesn't really matter how much scaling it has, since the spell is just a buff. Buying the seal from the Round Table Hold would cost runes. Killing the Tibia Mariner gives you a few thousand runes. Since we're not getting any money from super packs, we gotta spend that money wisely. Now it's Putrid Avatar time. Our damage is absolutely ridiculous. These things take double fire damage. It is literally super effective. Got a little greedy trying to charge a second R2 and got stomped, but that just lets us show off how good this armor is at absorbing hits. The tactical hit I took, obviously intentionally for content, leads to a problem though. The Tree Guardians are coming down from the hill, and just in time for Elden Stars Jr. We catch a lucky break as the Guardians don't realize the poo-poo cloud will kill them, so it's back to us and the Avatar of Filth and Pestilence, mano a mano. Did you know Bernie pulled better in a 1v1 matchup against the Avatar of Filth and Pestilence than Gideon Ofnir did? Interesting. After a stance break, we try the Ash of War. It's pure fire damage, but like...
It's useless, 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 useless!
Hopefully Big Fire Hammer is just good enough to carry us through the rest of the game. In the abandoned cave, we avoid the rot, but get poisoned. That really sucks. It's a shame when bosses can't stand on what they offer to the player and resort to tearing down their opponent instead. Too bad that is for them. Clean Rots take an extra 40% fire damage. First 2 hits on the Spear Knight aren't blocked, but even when they are,
We don't care.
that's the blocked damage. Spear Lady dies before Finlay Jr. even stands up. Baby, we can see your halo, and I pray that it does fade away, because it's really annoying. She can't block, so after we take a few rings, we break the stance and end things with a meaty crit for the Golden Scarab Talisman, and 20% more runes every time we kill a boss, around 56% stacking with the pickle. Talk about financial support. There's one very big donor in the Dragon Barrow, the Putrid Avatar, but we're not letting him give us money for influence. We're gonna beat him to death with a hammer. Imagine being beaten to death with a big ass hammer. Okay, still don't have a lot of vigor, but that's why we're here. Yeah, 2 deaths because this thing hits hard. And the hammer takes a lot of stamina. Sometimes I forget I need to save some for rolling. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but the poopy goes away when it makes a new poopy or an Elden Stars Jr. You can kind of just roll into the old cloud as it dissipates if you have to. The stance break is huge, letting us wallop that thick barky butt. Elden Stars Jr. is annoying. It lets it recover a bunch of stances. You kind of have to circle around it, but we still get in and get a barky buttload of runes. Hey, while we're here, Grail's worth a lot of runes. We open on the toes. They're just easy to hit. It goes for the big jump. So easy to dodge. I'll never get hit by that. Just 2 jump attacks break its stance. You might think that the fire dragon resists fire damage, but
Not really.
40% fire resistance, but that's kind of standard. We get hit by the big jump. It's kind of hard to dodge. Always getting hit by that.
Do you even know what you just said?
but we can heal off, get another stance break, and end things with a stylish critical hit. We head back into Volcano Manor to tangle with the Godskin Noble. We're not fighting Rykard, he's incredibly based. We're just fighting this guy. His defenses are pretty big against us. Fire resistance and strike resistance are 40 and 35 respectively. Because of split damage types, it means we're not getting through that blubber a lot. Stance pressure still is there though. He opens phase 2 with the big jump. So much better to punish than the rollout. A heavy charge attack breaks the stance again for a meaty critical hit. I tried to make my way to the altar for the rollout, but my layout of the place was wrong in my head, so instead I got kind of drilled into a wall. But then he stopped early. Thanks, I guess. Another big crit, and we're just kind of trading a bunch here. Even if we win, it's not going to be super clean, especially when he goes for another rollout.
Stop it.
One more big jump from it, and we get a big jump, and it dies. That noble was blocking a lot of important things. Better pay for the working class, and also the snake ashes. Remember that nice young woman who needs scoliosis treatment? I decided she's gonna be our running mate. With some stone sword keys, we can open the fog door, get the somber stone 7, which will get our hammer up to +9 before we've killed a single shard bearer.
I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
Oh, also, we Mr. Magoo'd down an elevator shaft. Gostock is gatekeeping, according to some chuds who aren't sensitive or easily offended. Making little leftist jokes and asides about how people deserve a better quality of life counts as gatekeeping. Sorry I hurt your fifis by saying you deserve healthcare and housing. Danger Path goes fine. It's time to take on Nepo baby Godric. The generational wealth of the Godfrey line was just handed down to him, and speaking of hands, dude has a lot of hands. A single hammer hit does like 15% of his health. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. His little windy get off me button is kind of annoying, but another hit pushes him into the super armor before phase 2. 2 charged attacks while he just stands there, breaks his stance, and opens up for a stylish crit victory. Stop exploiting your workers, dude. If someone gives you a hand, you need to give them a living wage. For Radon, we're putting together a political movement that's so diverse. We have dogs, jars, a guy from the land of reeds, hell, there might even be one single woman. You gotta be open-minded. Our damage is pretty big. I think Radon is weaker to fire, or maybe we just have a +9 hammer. There's a bit of trading, but during the stance break, we just sort of pummel him. He jumps up and we can't find Jaren, but that's fine. We just slam Radon a few more times to take him into phase 2 and take that dude out of the running. Now we gotta make a few compromises and fight a few of our fellow Tarnished. Infighting in my leftist movement?
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
First, Anastia. She's blocking the only spell we need, Golden Vow, which boosts damage by 15%, damage resistance by 10%. It just kind of makes you better. Then Vari asks us to duke it out with the Beastmen, who's trying to go beast mode with his hammer. As one hammer enjoyer to another, let me say, I respect you, and I'm sorry it had to go down like this. In another world, we'd be getting hammered together. We're gonna get a bit distracted to help out our running mate here, grabbing a sacred tear on the way to the Windham Catacombs. This place is pretty miserable. We can just hammer everything on the way down to make sure it can't chase us though. When we get to the fight with the Erdtree Burial Watchdog, we summon Raya for the first time, and apparently she has the Flame Whip, not the Magma Sword. Wild. She is aggressive as shit, just getting right in the paint with this dog, which lets us put the big hammer in its ass. That gives us the Grave Bell-Bearing 1, so we can level her up to +5 with the good Grave Wart we picked up in the Catacombs. Can you believe the Glovewort is illegal in several sections of the Lands Between? There are prisoner starting classes who have to use the S-Dock just because they were arrested with a Grave Glovewort 2 in their pocket. So sad. What a thrill it is climbing up Gelmnir to make our way to the Gelmnir Hero's Grave. Absolute perfect movement, by the way. No hits from the Chariot. Totally perfect run for the Grave Gloveworts 6 and 7. That's the best we can do for Raya until we get to the mountaintops, but she should be hitting pretty hard now and have a decent amount of HP. Hopefully the good Kush helps with her chronic pain from the scoliosis. We get Vari's sheet, then go kill Irina. She was gonna die anyway. Now she can become a frenzy priestess, and hey, good for her. While on the Weeping Peninsula, we're grabbing as many sacred tears as we can. But this is how terrible the Ash of War is. You might think, okay, it's good in big groups of small enemies. Here's a bunch of rats. We have heavy armor, and we do not have enough poise to get through a hit from the rats. If there is a place where this is useful, I do not know where it is. Thankfully, big fire hammer, still pretty good. 2 more sacred tears. Now Vari, pull my finger. We warp to the Mogwin Palace, even though Vari told us to wait. Sorry, bro. Maybe you shouldn't have been so easy to swindle. Through the dark cave, we escape the Sanguine Noble and jump over the dagger without seeing him throw it. I am the king of Elden Ring. Nothing is going to kill me ever again, except the frog on the way to the ancient Dragon Somber Stone. And also the frog again on the way to the ancient Dragon Somber Stone. Third try, we get in, warp back to Mogwin Palace where we already were, and now we can get a +10 Devourer Scepter. Let's see how good that is against Gilka.
1, 2, 3.
I think the rest of this game might just go pretty smoothly. Time to take this revolution to the capital. The tree sentinel is blocking the entrance, we get Raya out and start swinging that big old hammer. Little problem, we break the stance quickly, but since Raya is so ready to throw down, she hits it with her relatively weaker flame whip to break the stance breaks. Not actually that big of a problem, you can't crit horseback enemies anyway. It's just 2 charged attacks to stop him from moving, so if she can distract him up front, we'll just reset that over and over. It takes about a minute to turn the horseman into the hearseman, cause oh, he's dead. Royal Capital, so many Lindell insiders here, or Linsiders for short. The Erdtree avatar is weak to fire damage. Both Raya and I are packing that heat, so sorry buddy, thanks for the Lord's Rune, that's 50k worth of financial support. That'll send a lot of text messages. Scooping up the Ritual Shield Talisman from the Warden Duelists, when we become Elden Lord, they won't have to fight for sport. They can just make cool capes to throw off. Normally I quit out before Godfrey, and here's why. If you don't, your Spirit Ash will just try and fight the Guardians outside 90% of the time. Honestly, we don't really need her. Our damage is pretty cracked, as are our defenses. This armor is dummy thick, so we can take quite a few hits from Godfrey. Raya does eventually come help us out, but the Shade is already at half health, so just a few more hits and there isn't a Shade anymore. Here I finally found a good use for the Ash of War. If you jump on the bed when the Black Knife is chasing you, it'll hit her on the floor. But because we don't have any magic flasks, because, you know, the Ash of War is ass, we don't have enough magic to kill her that way, so just jump off the bed and hit her with the hammer. Hammers are good. Morgoth's next, we don't bring in Melina, we just need Raya. I strategically start off getting hit a bunch. We have to know how good our resistances are. Stance break as he's about to go for the swords, which is nice. I freaking hate the swords. Get stabbed, get grabbed, kinda stinks, but when he tries to do it to Raya, it fails. You can't grab a snake. It's just gonna slither right out of your fingers. We get the last hit we need to finish off the Omen King. If you hate oligarchies, you're probably not a fan of monarchies either.
All right, does he think he is?
I'm your king.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Honestly, I'm feeling pretty confident in this boy, so we go activate Godward's Great Rune for +5 to every stat. The hammer scales with 3 different stats, so it's 15 levels of damage. 5 levels of health, 5 levels of equip load and stamina, 5 more levels of holy resistance thanks to the arcane, and 5 more levels of mind and intelligence for, well, nothing, but it doesn't hurt. Then we grab the beast casting seal from Garunk that I mentioned like an hour and a half ago, but forgot to grab. Yeah, so we haven't even been using Golden Vow yet. This can get 15% better. Decided to kill the horseback guy on the bridge that doesn't let you ride your horse. Just a little cathartic. I don't like unfair laws. 4 Biden lands are boring. There would be so much better if there were the 4 Bernie lands. And we're in the mountaintops of the Giants where we'll ignore Realis. Let the dragon just live its life and be annoying. It's not hurting anyone. Not hurting anyone who presses the sprint button and ignores it anyway. Raya is great, but she could be better with a little more glove ward. The last 3 pieces of it are in the giant hero's grave. It's a nightmare if you don't have any vigor and heavy armor. But we have vigor and heavy armor. So the first 2 fire monks just get bonked, then bonked, and we go down the elevator, send it back up, then go down it again, then go up a ladder for the Grave Glove Wart 10. The giant seal is also here. If I tried to speed run this to do it again, I would just grab this one and skip the Tibia Mariner fight. Up the ladder to the Grave Wart 8, then back up the elevator and grab the 9 on the way out. There we go. With 10 pieces of Glove Wart, hopefully Raya's spine can straighten out, or at least not hurt her so badly. The fire giant has good fire resistance. Not great though, only 50%. He leads with the shield slam instead of the avalanche, so I missed a few hits. Usually he goes for the avalanche. That anklet breaks pretty fast. Maybe the hammer would suck against Rykard, but it does better here than it did against the Godskin Noble. Probably because the giant has worse strike damage resistance, and the hammer's mostly doing strike damage. I'll try to keep the pressure up before phase 2, and 1 charge attack on the hands brings him down. I could have gone for the crit, but I'd probably do more damage just smashing the fingers. Have you ever hit one of your fingers with a hammer? Yeah, it hurts. So that's the plan. Stick to the thigh and get safe charge attacks off, then we'll move to the more sensitive parts while he's down. Hey, first use of Golden Vow, that's pretty neat. Don't know why I didn't lead with that. We're having a problem getting getting in and finding safe windows to keep stance pressure up. Since he doesn't stop rolling away, his stance is just constantly resetting. Eventually we do get the stance break, and while it's not a big satisfying crit, we do get the win bashing fingers. Let's burn this place to the ground. Bernie and Faramazula? Yeah, that's pretty standard. We get a bit chewed up by the beast men on the way down, but hey, we living. Thank God for big, thicky armor. First run at the Godskins, I realized we don't have enough magic to use Golden Vow and summon Raya. Oh, and obviously we can't summon Bernie. We are Bernie. Despite being alone, we get Skinny into phase 2, where his combo mode just becomes relentless. Hey, we actually get him down though, and it's just us against the Noble. I reset the Golden Vow, that was a mistake. We get the stance break right after he summons another Skinny, making it a 2-on-1 fight again. If we just went in there, we probably could have broken the stance and stopped that from happening. Then Chunky goes to phase 2. Another stance break though, and we're too far away to capitalize, so we died. Bummer. That went weirdly okay though, considering we were alone. There is no way you're meant to do this fight solo. Sorry, Spirit Ash haters, you're incorrect. They're part of the game for a reason. Saying you shouldn't use them is like saying you shouldn't use the gun in Bloodborne because it makes bosses easier. It's something they put in the game. You're supposed to use it. So let's try again with Raya, but she's too angy to wait for us to get the Golden Vow off. Her damage is almost 100% fire, but she isn't here for damage. We bring Skinny into phase 2, then get behind him while he does the Black Flame Twist. He dies, but so does Raya. This is basically a big dude with their noodle friend competition, and the other big dude can roll. Hey, there's another place we can actually get off the Ash of War, but resetting Golden Vow probably would have been better. Chunky summons, but we kill him right after the noodle comes back. As Skinny summons, we stance break, so it's interrupted. Just one more Chunky, but we were out of flasks, so there could be no more silly goose moves. You know me, gamers, you know I'm a silly ass goose. We died again. Back at it, summon our Danger Noodle. She will still not wait for the buff. Just a gal with a fucked up spine who loves violence. God bless her. Stance break on the rival Noodle, and Raya actually has a bit of health left by the time we cook it to pasta. Throwback to Dark Souls 1, we bonk our hammer on the wall. Hate to see that. No crit after the stance break, which lets the big boy summon. But we have to get greedy as it's about to roll out and break the stance to get a proper crit. Our Noodle lost the Noodle war that was happening in the background, but our big meaty hammer should be enough to handle things. I didn't know how to dodge the Black Flame Twist yet. I figured that out later. This is actually kind of an old run. So we took another hit there. Then get a greedy ass Golden Vow off as Chunky comes in and tries to hit it with the Black Flame. We got out of the way though. Stance break. Big crit. Big win. We don't need Bernie for this. We are Bernie. Could have had more runes, but
You forgot the pickles!
you know we land that swag chump, right? And Golden Vow for the bird run for extra defense. It really helped, especially at the end when a beast man hit us, chaining us into some lightning on the water. Yeah, that could have gone a lot worse. Going to grab the Old Lord's talisman, we get invaded.
My death was greatly exaggerated.
It's fine. We use the fantastic hit R1 technique and kill another Bernie. The Beastie Boys don't want us to get the old man talisman, but Bernie is super old. It was meant for us. That takes Golden Vow from an 80-second buff to a 104-second buff, and honestly, we don't have that many talismans on anyway, so we got room for it. That should help us for the whole fight against the Draconic P-Sentinel. We can't get any help here, but maybe that's better. Punishing the stance attacks with a big charge attack is probably better than Raya hitting him with one of her flame whips. Phase 2 starts with a stance break, but after that, dude does not let us heal. Tree Sentinels, Godskins, and Radagon compete to see who hates healing the most. All of them get so aggressive the second you sip a bit of Gatorade. Works out fine though, Golden Vow stays up the whole time. If Golden Vow lasts for 4 hours or more, call your doctor. You're not in medical danger. It's just fun to brag. Malekith time, beating the other version of ourselves, gave us something to parry him, but I forgot to put it on. Raya actually waits for the Golden Vow buff. That's pretty nice. We get 3 hits off before breaking the Clergy stance, then a jump attack into phase 2. I'd panicked trying to get the Blasphemous Claw to parry, but like, I don't know, just nah, don't have to use it. Took a bunch of hits for trying to look for it though. Really, in phase 2, you don't need to parry. You just need a big old weapon and to stay calm and hug that doggy tummy. Big smashes will bring it home. Quickly dipped into the sewer for the Crimson Amber Medallion +2. It's a little more health before Gideon, and the dude does not stop talking. That means we can start the fight for free, but also hot swap in the Golden Scarab at the end. He ends up talking talking more than fighting. Start with a charge attack, then a few light attacks, then we just chase him down with a jump attack and some more light ones. He didn't even get to try to heal. It is an absolute slaughter. Godfrey time, we summon Raya and get the Golden Vow, then have to hot swap the talismans mid-fight. It's a little awkward and we take some hits. But after stance breaking in phase 1, I was a little worried. It's too early. That means a long 1.5, which is kind of the hardest one to deal with. Well, I mean, not if you just keep hitting him to skip right to phase 2 after the first shockwave. Dodge the raw daddy grabby, get 2 jump attacks, and dude, where's my stance break?
Stance break.
We even get the quick grab. I'm not sure I've seen him land that one before. Weird. Still no stance break as he starts the shockwaves, but we get it right after to end things with another stylish crit. I started to head to Fort Lade for the Fire Scorpion charm. It would give us 12% more fire damage, and both Rowdy and the Elden Beast are weak to fire, but it's like kind of a drive. Skip. Radagon starts bad. We just get hit with a little bit of everything, then he just stands there waiting to parry.
Menacingly!
God damn, we even get grabbed. First rule of Elden Ring, don't get grabbed. We managed to dodge it the second time, then get a nice little stance break. He goes for the big jump, which lets us punish. It's maybe my favorite attack of his to dodge. First 2 hits of the Hammer Slammer come down, but we stance break him on the third and get another Golden Vow on myself and our noodle niece. Elden Beast begins and we're charging on God's ass. 3 hits break the stance so we can open up that belly and get a free charge attack after. It just wants to do melee attacks. Maybe God secretly wants Bernie to win. It finally goes for the Elden Ring at around half health and targets the noodle niece. Kind of a shame. I'd actually prefer if it went for me. We get the stance break right after Elden Stars, and damn, this thing is down so long we can use the Ash of War and get a crit.
That is not unpleasant, and it is hot. Yep.
Oh, Elden Stars doesn't break our poise. I finally found something that won't break the poise of this crappy weapon art. It's the piss balloon. Few more melee attacks to dodge, even Raya is still doing fine. She is not a particularly tanky Spirit Ash. We're just going really fast. It dies diving into her magma after I thought it avoided us. Bernie gets the win at 4 hours and 4 minutes. 23 bosses dead and 11 deaths. It ends up right behind Vigor only. Fire is a good damage type. Hammers are good weapons. Armor is good, and the Man-Serpent is a cool Spirit Ash that I wish used Ghost Glovewort instead of Grave. If you're looking for a weapon you can get early in the game, this is a really fun run. Just don't try to use the Ass of War. It's ass. So why not do all remembrances if this fire is so hot? Well, to be honest, we did this run a long time ago, before the SpongeBob run. We're just working on something for next week that is taking a bit longer. Maybe going through this video will give me the inspiration I need to make that work. Follow me on Twitch to see if we're still suffering through that. Join the Patreon if you want to support the channel, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next episode.